Little Dragon Cafe, and in the game you start with a baby dragon and you raise the dragon, and it grows up, and then you can fly it. And as you go through the game, they just kind of randomly build levels onto your cafe, which is also where you live, and it's an inn. So that's what I've got going on here.
Did you use a Hagrid's Hut plastic piece for the cone roof up there?
Yeah, from the 2006.
That's a great part usage.
It was a very irritating part usage.
That's why it's good. Everyone knows that piece is not
fun. So here we got the brother and sister that run the cafe and their baby dragon, and they're fishing in the lake. And just have them placed a few times. So there's just walking down the path collecting something. And they are at the so this is there's the house. And we got a little garden going on back here with a little shed. And that's pretty much it. There's the adult dragon up there. Up there on the top of the house.
Gary comments that he loves the windows you have on the top there.
Yeah, thanks. I was trying to match the look and feel of the game, and it took me, I don't know, a few weeks of different trial and error to come up with something that matched the look and feel of the game.
And I displayed with you when we had Brickworld in Kansas City. I know you did another video game build then. Is that one of your favorite things to draw inspiration from?
Well, it's one of my other hobbies, and so it's something that I think about. And sometimes I just like a game so much, I say, this has to be a Lego build. And sometimes I actually finish the build or the game.
And baby dragons were a popular item in elf sets a few years ago. So how many baby dragons do we have on this build?
Oh, let's see. I've got I think I have five or six of the yellows, and then over here they have a couple hidden. Yeah, there's a little baby dragon hidden there. Oh, there's a little purple one hiding.
Christy asks, how do you get the tree shapes using those Faberland stalks?
Well, let's see if I can grab one here. Okay, so what I got here is the old palm tree base. And then inside I've got a whole bunch, I got Travis bricks, and then a whole bunch of the 5-point stock, or 5 or 6 point stocks there for the branches, and then I use these old flower pieces for the leaves. So each one, it's actually pretty solid. The first version of this idea exploded in my hand and went everywhere, so it was a little unstable. This version though, it came out pretty stable. I can drop it, which I do a lot.
That's a great use of that Fabuland flower piece, which I think most builders might think is a bit more comical compared to some of the more modern plant pieces.
Yeah, and since I'm going with video game look and feel, it works pretty well to have a comical sort of giant leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the pine trees very much remind me of like the 2D sprites that we used to get in video games. That you'd come across them and go to the other side, and they'd just be flat.
Yeah, well, that was kind of the look I was going for.
Yep.
These little guys are pretty simple too. Just the inside. Just make 4 identical sides, and then when you stack them all up on the brick, it makes it pine tree-ish.
Now, do you build a lot of castle theme, or what do you consider being your main area of style?
My main area would be things people haven't heard of. The last large build I did was Stardew Valley, which is the game a lot of people hadn't heard of, and then this one, which didn't do very good in America, so probably not a lot of people have heard of it. Let's see. I don't know. I kind of just like the little details. I've got. I don't know if my camera will reach here. I got some plants. I've got some strawberry plants, some hot pepper plants. Got blueberries, corn, and kale over here. Tomatoes, carrots, and
some pumpkins for Tim tomorrow.
Some pumpkins that are not for Tim.
I love how you did the siding on the wall right there with the gaps.
Yeah, and the fence window shutter substitute there for the latticed work on the window.
Yeah, that was it's an interesting thing, just in case anyone can't see. There's the window fence. Gonna knock some trees down, so nobody panic. And yeah, and then I got the I did it with sort of a trans yellow there. But I think I was able to get 3, and I was out of trans yellow. It's not the most common piece. But these, the top ones in the game, it's not windows, it's just a wall decoration. And so that's why I put the hand behind those. And then this is actually an elevator. Not in real life, but in the game.
It's not working?
No. Don't bump my builds very hard, please.
I like the color change that you have between the gray and the tan there.
Thanks. And I wanted to use some of these old panels that have the bricks and just like random plants on them.
Is this a game that Bradley plays with you, or just one that you enjoy by yourself?
He likes to watch me play this one.
Bradley is Lisa's son, who's about 6 years old.
5.5, going on 13.
Going on 13, aren't they all? I also look like we could see when you're adjusting your trees there, a Nintendo tattoo on the forearm. So a gamer through and through, even tattooed on the skin.
Yeah, I must be. Yeah, my son's playing Pikmin 3 right now and Minecraft. And he's got like 10 games going right now. So he'll probably want me to build something for one of his games sometime soon. So you might see a Pikmin build next year.
I would imagine Minecraft is too popular and mainstream for a Lisa build.
Well, Bradley doesn't want me to build Minecraft because he builds Minecraft.
Ah,
Doesn't want the competition.
right.
I guess he doesn't want me to take his pieces, I think, is the real thing.
And where did you get this lovely background, the backdrop here, the curtains in the room, or sheets, or whatever these are?
Well, I was they're shower curtains actually, and I have like 20 or 30 of them. They just because it seems like a nice way to cover a wall without damaging the wall.
Well, it's typical for Lego builders to buy in bulk. So
Well, yeah, it was cheaper that way, directly from China.
if anyone has any questions for Lisa, make sure to put them in the chat and shout them out.
And what are these flower structures? Looks like a couple different flower pieces combined to get these little flowery guys here.
Yeah, these were just something kind of quick. Currently transitioning to my new Lego studio out of the spare bedroom, so I don't have 100% of my stuff here. But these, it's 2 leaves and one of those new flower studs, and then a flower. Now this is my strawberry plant, in case anyone wants to see that up close. Little strawberry bush. Now I'll just show something that I have. I don't keep most of my builds. I tear them down. And I did keep this part of this build. This is my monorail, of course.
Award-winning one.
Yes. Blame the mono. So I made a little stand, lava, scorched earth kind of stand for him, and that's there we go. This one uses all kinds of crazy parts. We got Bionicle, Ben 10, Friends. I mean, just regular system. He's got a car hood on top, a grill.
And that still runs, yes?
Oh yeah, it still runs. I just put everything away for a change. Yeah, I got the battery box. There's a motor back there.
What's it like building on the monorail system, which is so old, compared to, modern techniques and everything? How is it building with a monorail now?
Well, building something like this, which is brick built, you find out why the Lego monorails were so boring, because the the motor is not all that strong, and so it really, not only does it move pretty slow when you brick build something, it also it runs your battery down really fast.
Mhm.
I think insulting monorail is like saying Yellow Castle isn't cool. I'm not sure you can say that and still stay in the Lego community.
I guess I should get out now, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, most people would agree that the actual monorail trains were pretty simplistic. I mean, it's basically a base with wheels and a motor, and that's it. It's basically a transport for the battery box, and it's usually like 3 or 4 pieces. They're just all panels. And after building this guy, I figured out that was because of the weight issue. The space monorail moves really fast compared to how slow this went when it was traveling. And all I had on it, did I have a middle? I don't think I did a middle. I just ended up with an engine on each end and a motor in the middle.
You mentioned this was from another one of those properties that nobody else knows, Blaine the Mono.
Yeah, this is Blaine the Mono from Stephen King's The Dark Tower book series. And most people didn't recognize it, but the people who did were really excited.
And I found that that's often true when Kansas City as well, when you had your builds there, people who knew the game were just so excited to see it there.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's not that
just
common to find a pink monorail, so it does stand out regardless.
Yeah. Yeah, I only got in about 3 arguments about him being pink.
That he shouldn't have been pink, or that he wasn't pink?
People were saying he was supposed to be blue. He was the blue monorail, and I said, you need to go read the book again. It's funny, these cheap camera stands don't work so well. There we go.
Now, do you always build a source material, or do you, do things of your own kind of design? Is there always something that inspires you to bring something to the physical brick?
A lot of my builds, well, I don't show them because they're not made for travel, but a lot of the builds that I do are made for brick films, and so that's based off of whatever script I write, or they're made for Mafia game on Eurobricks, and so that's just based on whatever my idea for the game was.
Do you have different techniques for doing a build that's going to be for a brick film as opposed to like a convention where you're focusing on different aspects, whether it's like stability or?
Yeah, so a brick film, I have to make all the, if it's a room, I have to make all the walls easy to pull off, so I can change camera angles. And if a lot of times that's fine for traveling, but then if you're going to travel and go to different shows, you have to make things more modular so you can get them in your vehicle. Typically would be helpful. So my Blaine the Mono was 5 feet by 8 feet, I believe, was the size of the table. It was 2 tables, and each base plate was connected with Technic pins and then some plates on top just for stability. And I would take those apart, and each one would be separated for transport. And it was the same way with my Stardew Valley. Everything was made to transport to Kansas City. This one, since I'm not planning to transport it there, it's one solid piece. It's I think it's about 16 base plates, 14, 16.
Hmm.
So I would not be able to easily get this in a vehicle unless that was the only thing I was taking. And I'd probably have to rebuild a lot of it when I got to Chicago.
It's very
That's,
important if you're going to try and display something somewhere to really consider how you're going to move it.
yeah. And how long is it going to take to rebuild it when you
Mhm.
drop it on the way in?
You should always assume something's going to break. So it's nice to have extra pieces on hand, which is pro tip.
Yeah, in 2012, I had this build I was real excited about. And as I was about to carry it into the convention center, a gust of wind, not that that ever happens in Chicago, of wind came and hit me so hard that it ripped the whole build out of my hand.
Ooh.
And it was completely unsalvageable.
Or maybe the now owner of Brickworld would knock a dragon off the top of a tree of worlds and smash it into thousands of pieces.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Yes, and our European and Australian friends also point out that they oftentimes have to consider transport. They have to flat pack these usually when they come over to display, and it's sort of become the tradition or the North American leg of the Eurobricks display world is usually at Brickworld Chicago. So they have to consider not only moving it, but moving it across seas in the underbelly of a plane, somehow packed into luggage. So we don't have to battle that battle, but it still can be difficult on a bumpy road or even a windy day to bring one of these massive behemoths in and not have a bunch of pieces fall off.
I think ultimately that's good for design, just sort of getting into that habit of making things stable, making things that can be taken apart and put into different pieces, because it's good for storage, it's good for keeping the build longevity if it's something you want to bring to multiple places or keep for a long time.
Just make sure it can get through the doorway of whatever room you're building it in, or else you're in big trouble.
That's a very important factor.
Yep. The doorway factor is often overlooked when you build big.
So if anyone has any last questions for Lisa, we should put them in the chat. Yes, the crystal, that does. You should definitely build more stability after that.
Yeah, clutch power is not infinite.
No.
One stud connection is not always sufficient.
And
So
a one stud connection of a plate is a lot different than like a slope, and that's different than a round piece. You know, pieces are all different, and so some of them are naturally clutchier than others.
yeah, or the bar through the hole can often be very tight.
That never is coming out, especially if it's
Yeah.
transparent.
As compared to some of the other stuff. Stardew Valley build at KC from Leah. She apparently recognized it, even though she's never played the game. So, yes, I remember several people I asked in the Kansas City convention what their favorite build was, and that actually was pointed out to me several times by people who knew the game, that they just absolutely loved it and it was perfect for what that game was.
Oh, nice. Thank you.